Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Reach Podcast Show. You've reached another edition where we are live in the studio with our guest, my man, my bro, my boy, Mr. Eddy Machette. We're going to learn all about him and what he has going on these days with his business ventures. And he's a great motivational speaker, but we'll get to all that. And then also, I appreciate you also being a sponsor, man, of the Reach Podcast Show. So this morning, I want to thank everybody that's tuning in, all of you guys that will tune in. Y'all check in and let me know if you can hear me, because I know last week we had a slight mishap and the audio was not good. So if you're tuning in, if you're watching in, please comment and let me know that you can hear us this week. But I think we got everything in check on that part. So again, to all my Facebook listeners, all my followers, man, I appreciate you guys. We have another great episode. So the other thing is that, I always like to shout out to all the families, all the different communities around the city. I pray for you guys all the time as far as dealing with this COVID, the new normal that we're in. And right now, I want to shout out to all of the students that are going to be going back to school, starting the online schooling next week. So we appreciate you guys for being diligent enough to keep things going and, get to where you need to be in the academic world. I got my oldest son in the studio with me, man. My man Dalen is here. I know he'd rather be home asleep, but he's in the studio with us this morning. So I appreciate him being here, man. Just want him to check out what's going on. So without further ado, my man, Mr. Eddy Machette, bro.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you coming back. This is the second time on the show. You got your own platform this morning. Last time we were on a whole nother note. And by the way, you guys can go back and check out that episode and any of the other episodes that I have on YouTube at the Reach Podcast radio show page. The radio show is what's on YouTube. So y'all go and check that old episode out. But man, tell people who you are, man. Tell us about Mr. Eddy Machette. I know you.
Man, I am. I'm Eddy Machette. Glad to be here, first and foremost.
Absolutely.
Glad to be a part of it. Glad to be considered worthy of being here.
Oh, come on, stop it.
with all honesty.
Stop it.
I know we go back 20 years. But just glad to be here, man. Glad to be able to have something positive to talk about. Blessed that I have something positive going on in my life. With so much negativity going on right now in the world, it's easy to buy into it and fall into the doldrum of just pity and self defeat and everybody else's feet, unfortunately underneath them. But glad to talk about what I do, man. I have a portfolio of businesses. Blessed to have 4 active businesses right now.
That's good.
But today I'm talking about Rolling Bones, and I will give my other ones some shout outs too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's all love on this show, brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's all love. Because I never know when it's going to come back to me. So, absolutely.
Rolling Bones, it started out in the car business, just like our relationship did. When I was a director at Clear Lake Dodge, I was out walking the lot in the back area, cleaning up, looking for things that need to be taken away. And I saw a barbecue pit on the table. And of course, I already cooked. I'm a cute. If you find a cutie king barbecue, he ain't the bird.
Exactly.
It's a cute
it's
somewhere
like a prerequisite.
right now.
Yeah.
It's a cute barbecue somewhere right now. No, saw the pit and Mike Martinez, he was the general manager. So I called him and said, "Hey, Mike, we got refrigerators and old motorcycles and all kinds of stuff back here."
Come to the mic for me.
Which we didn't.
Yeah.
Need to call Waste Management and get rid of some of this stuff. And he said, "No problem." So next thing you know, I got my truck, hooked the barbecue pit up, got the fats fixed on it, took it home, and it all started there.
Okay.
I had it refurbished and had some upgrades done to it over time.
And I'm slightly remembering that whole deal. Yeah.
Yeah, and it turned into a business.
Okay.
Just like any other business, I started off small, went and got a DBA, did some practicing, did my formalities, got my food certificates, and all those different things that are required with the city to be a caterer.
Right.
And the next thing you know, here I am today on one of the most popular podcasts in all of the world, The Reach.
Yeah, speak it, man. Speak it, because that's what I'm trying to do is reach,
right?
And expand that reach, man. My reach has gone beyond where I even imagined it. And just speaking on how you just stepped out and did something. That's what I did with the show. I was given an opportunity, and shout out to the old Studio GMT. It was just a situation where you just have to go ahead and go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? And actually just step out on it. And I know you know about that. That's why I'm mentioning, you know, and then like, it's like not that I'm some huge deal, but I know the effect and the impact that it's having on the community just because of the feedback that I get, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you can't take anything small for granted, you know what I'm saying? So I salute you because, you know, I know how long it's been.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you speak about talking or stepping out on something, I had to realize I would rather have more people tell me they don't like my product than me having people that don't know about my product. You know, you'll never know what your litmus test is if you don't put it out there.
Right.
Speaking of putting things out there, I brought you a gift.
Okay.
I brought you a little something, you know.
Hit mute for me because I think it's, you know.
In any food business, you have a these on here.
Oh, I'm tripping. That's me. My bad.
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
So along with barbecue and seasoning, so
turn it toward the camera, man, so they can see.
Buy out.
Rolling Bones.
Rolling Bones.
Absolutely.
That's for you.
Appreciate you.
I put the easy open top on it so you can show it,
Yeah.
pull it out.
Yeah.
But it's I developed my own seasoning, my own love. And it's a combination of this and that, and a little bit more of this and a little bit more of that. But there is some.
You can't give out the secret recipe.
It's not secret. It's sold in stores. You can
Yeah.
get your own, and you can have your own bottle. If anybody's listening that's interested in getting some Rolling Bones in Birds seasoning, put your mouth on it. That's the slogan. Put your mouth on it.
Yeah.
Shoot me an email at edmachette@gmail or Rolling Bones. Put it up there.
Yeah, I will.
Rolling Bones Catering, and Bones is always spelled with a Q because I am a
cute dog. I think I was I don't know what you call it, celebrity, honorary Q dog. You know what I'm saying? Because you know I was never a Q. I didn't want to pledge or nothing like that. But I think it was somewhere probably gonna be Q. I don't know. But
we're some cool cats. We do a lot in the community.
Give me that email though, because I want to get that up.
Rolling Bones Catering @gmail.com.
And it's Bones with the Q, right?
Right. Bones with a Q.
At what?
Gmail.com. Send me an email address and I will send you back an invoice of $7.99 plus taxes, $5 shipping no matter where you live, for a limited time only till I get the shipping part drilled down.
Absolutely.
I'm going to absorb the cost on shipping until I get it. But I want to have customers to have it.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. You can't put your mouth on it if it's not in your cabinet.
Absolutely.
But that's just part of reaching,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and stepping out again. Because if you go to the grocery store and see, you have a bunch of seasonings out there.
Right.
You know, but just watching other people in the business. And somebody that I want to mention, Trey Thomas. He's also from Houston. He played football at the University of Texas. The Catfish Station, now the Station Seafood.
Okay.
He's a huge inspiration.
So it's Station Seafood now.
Station Seafood.
Okay. Okay.
There's still Catfish Stations out there.
Right.
But the Station Seafood is his new platform and his new brand. And I really applaud him because coming from a football background,
mm-hmm.
you know, people all often wonder, man, what are you going to do after football? What are you going to do after football?
Absolutely.
You've been playing football since the third grade.
Yeah.
You know, so you got 15 years and then another 5 in college or 4 in college. And then you go to the league and play another 4, 5, 6, or however many.
Yeah.
Has to be something else. And he really took the ball and ran with it. And he's been successful. He has franchises. So, you know, he's building communities of business for people. But I definitely hats off to him. And he's an open book, man.
Okay.
You know, he's somebody that you can call.
Open the door for me, D.
And
you know,
say, hey,
this ain't CNN. I can say that. No, open the door for me. It's getting hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's been an open book, man. You can call him and ask him anything. And other than the recipe. And he's been a help for me, and I just see big things in the future for him. Yeah,
that was one of my nephew. He worked there for a while, like right before he got into the service. So that's why he said Catfish Station. I'm like, okay, right at the one at 59 Augusta. That's where he was at.
Gotcha.
You know, and I know I've seen there's one in Richmond, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's funny you say that because shout out to my man Garrett Jones. You know, I'm not sure if you know that name, if you've seen him, but you know, as you can see, Eddie was just talking about the things that you're pushing, which is, you know, those athletes realizing that you have that platform to get out there and start a business. Because what are you going to do after football? What are you going to do after basketball? What are you going to do? You know, that should be the first thing that they do. You know, is what we talk about all the time. And you know, they just have to realize they have that platform. You know, and they can blow it up. So
He's a smart guy too.
Yeah, exactly.
Had he not played football, he's a very intelligent person when it comes to business strategy and his marketing skills. So hats off to him.
Gotcha.
For sure.
Gotcha.
I see big things.
Okay. So look, here's my thing, and that's just a little bit about and people are saying they can hear us, but it's kind of going in and out. So we just want to get up to the mic so that we can project and make sure that they can hear us. But, you have some things that you want to talk about, and your man just said Trey Thomas, Trey Thomas just said Eddy. So, I guess he's tuned in.
Right.
We appreciate you tuning in and viewing, man. Shout out to you.
Yes, sir.
But, and Coach Brown, I appreciate you. He's saying he can hear. Shout out to you, Rob. Appreciate you guys tuning in, man. So we're going to get into what we want to talk about, and I know you gave me a whole layout, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to just make that part of the post, you know what I'm saying,
right,
to make sure people really know what we were talking about. But let's talk about the thing before we get into food. Let's talk about, because this was your topics, and you threw out, you wanted to discuss moving forward as a culture, dispelling myths and untruths. And as usual, I never pre-prep my shows with my guests. I like my show to be just natural flow. You know what I'm saying? So what did you exactly mean by that? I know I can make up my emphasis on what you meant, but where were you going with that whole deal? Let's talk about that a little bit, and then we'll get into the food.
Exactly. I have diabetes because my grandmother had diabetes.
Gotcha.
I'm fat because my uncle was fat.
Okay.
My cousin's fat just like my other cousins. No, you don't have diabetes.
So that was still about the food then. Okay. Yeah.
The myths and the untruths are the lies that we formulate in our mind that create bad habits.
Right.
Bad habits, and they become a part of your family. When we talk about habits, I'm not just talking about just something you do when you wake up. I'm talking about real addiction. Yeah. 2 cups of sugar in a Kool-Aid instead of 1. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or
even the type of sugar. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. And you're a little bit like me, but you got to come closer to that mic.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? But no.
It's just that thing.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Take that. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But no. But yeah, so the whole deal about basically it boils down to you are what you eat, and you have to be mindful about what you're ingesting, because I tell my son this all the time, you are what you eat, what you put in is what's going to come out. You put in trash is going to come out, and that's about performance, so I hope he's paying attention over there while he's on that phone. But but yeah, go ahead, speak that knowledge, man.
And by any means, for all the listeners out there, you and Dalen included, I am not a dietitian. I am not a nutritionist.
Exactly.
I am not a doctor.
We're not professionals,
right,
but
I'm not
most of it's common sense.
But it's common sense. But and speaking of common sense, it's only common based on the common thoughts you have,
right?
The knowledge you're around, the common things that you do.
Absolutely.
So any knowledge can become common.
Okay.
But does it make sense?
Right.
So I think about the options and choices that we have. Choices versus options. You have a lot of options out there when it comes to food. I have options, and nowadays every corner has at least 2 or 3 restaurants.
Right.
And happy for that, because that helps what I do. I am that market. I am in that market. But with those options, what are we choosing when we do that? They have vegan restaurants, vegetarian restaurants, pescatarian, barbecarian. Hey,
you just write up a word. Yeah. Put that down for the barbecue. Say it again. Can you say it again?
Barbecutarian.
Okay. You got it. Y'all heard it first. Eddy Machette is a barbecutarian.
Yes, barbecutarian. But I think culturally, we choose the worst options.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because we don't have a palate that we think can change, or if that's just a part of our addiction.
Right.
I think it is a part of our addiction, because think about this. You go to a soul food restaurant. A soul food restaurant menu is 9 items.
Yeah.
And I don't care what soul food restaurant it is, smothered something.
Yeah.
Another smothered something. Ham hocks, greens, green beans, and 6 or 7 other things. And then the common desserts. Banana pudding, tea cakes that somebody down the street made.
Yeah.
But there's nothing healthy on the menu. There's nothing healthy at Kentucky Fried Chicken either. But when we think about how those options or those choices affect us, I'm not worried about what Kentucky Fried Chicken has.
Yeah.
Us as a culture is what my focus is. How do we broaden our palate and still make good choices with better ingredients,
Right.
better cooking processes?
Right.
Can one person change it? Absolutely not. But one person can talk to another person about it, just like we're doing. And thank God for the reach. We can reach more people. Reach more people. And just put it on the minds of when you decide to make something. I cooked the other day, a straight soul food. It wasn't even soul food.
Before we pass that, I want to do a test. And this is for all the listeners.
Mm-hmm.
If you find up to this point and at any further point of this show, if you find this interesting, something that needs to be talked about, make a comment, because I want to share that with Eddie, because that's my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, by being on the reach, we're able to reach. And I just want to do a test to all my listeners. If you feel like this is an important conversation, comment that. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, bro.
I'm almost 50. I forgot what I'm talking about.
You was just talking about you were talking about the reach and the people. Boy, you're so silly. Eddie is also a part-time comedian.
Part-time.
Full-time?
I'm not getting paid.
Oh no.
I'll turn my headphones down. Having conversations that are real about real things. Yeah. Yes, I am a self-made comedian.
Yeah.
But I believe in laughing. At a time like this in life right now, if you can't find something funny, leave me alone.
Yes.
You can't find a reason to smile, leave me alone.
Absolutely.
But real conversations about food. It is the fuel that drives your body. It's the fuel that your body lives on. It's what your body is made of.
Mm-hmm.
But when we start having more conversations about making choices and options, I'm not saying get rid of soul food, because I'm darn sure not getting. I said, darn sure.
Yeah.
I am on TV.
You hit the nail on the head.
I am darn for sure that I'm not getting rid of barbecue.
Right.
I do use quality ingredients. I don't use any processed ingredients in my seasoning.
Mm-hmm.
Shameless plug.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to choose to eat barbecue every day. You don't have to choose to eat fried food every day. And I don't want someone to choose to eat my barbecue every day. I want a bunch of people to choose it every now and then.
Right.
You know, but along the way, have a salad, have a pH balanced meal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, drink alkaline water, not every day, all day, but every now and then put some Supreme gas in your car.
Mm-hmm.
Choices versus options. Don't let that stuff become a habit, and that's where we are right now.
Right.
Everything is a buffet.
Right.
You know, I'm really upset and mad at COVID. Number one, for the disparity the pain that it's caused the nation, health wise, money wise.
Mm-hmm.
But the Chinese buffet gone, man.
I know there's a bunch of people out there like, man, I wish I could go to the Chinese buffet. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that is a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's full of unhealthy stuff, but they got some healthy stuff on the buffet too.
Yeah.
Water and those green beans, the fish.
The fish.
Right.
With the almonds on it and all that stuff. Yeah.
But General Joe, that's cancer on a stick. It's gotta be bad for you. It tastes that good.
Yeah.
But those are the things that we have to trim down as far as habits, because the buffet lifestyle transcended into the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I find myself cooking, and I cook a lot.
Right.
And I know how to cook for 2, 3 people or 400 or 500 people. I know how to measure portions.
Right.
But out of habit that I have to break, and it's on my mind that I can't keep cooking that much, because putting that much food left over, a lot of people don't eat leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cook again tomorrow, but instead of eating a light lunch, I'm going to eat the smothered pork chops for lunch.
Right.
And then I'm going to cook a whole dinner. And we don't think about what that is doing to us. Oh, man, I ate. I'm sleepy. I got the itis. No, your body is shutting down.
Yes.
Your body can't deal with that.
Yes.
Long-term effects are just that. We create a culture within, and we start believing the lie.
Yeah.
I'm fat because Big Mama was fat.
Right. This is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
I can't help it.
Yeah.
You know, I sell life insurance. So I was talking to a guy the other day, his 2 parents actually, and he comes in what y'all talking about? And I was explaining to him, well, discussing some insurance policies, BQNES, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, he gets to the point where, no, we don't need to do anything. They don't need to do anything like that. When that time comes, the village gonna take care of this. No, man, that's not the village's responsibility.
You talking about the fish plate sales and barbecue sales,
GoFundMe,
GoFundMes,
all of that.
Yeah,
and of course, I'm in a professional mode. I'm selling life insurance. I'm at an appointment, but in my mind, if there was one of those acronyms, DMFYTG, you don't get your. But it's the same thing. We do things out of habit, and we don't look at the long-term effects of it. The long-term effects of what he was talking about is what he saw someone else do.
Right.
So he's repeating the cycle. With food, that's a daily thing. That is the number one cause of the issues that we have now. Diabetes is super high, type 2 especially in our community. But our diet is what type 2
part of it.
Yeah, our diet. We eat a lot of sugar, we eat a lot of fried. And even if you cut back on sugar, that's not why you have diabetes, because of too much sugar. It's your body's inability to manage sugar. Which goes to my next point: fresh food versus processed food.
I had it up, and I guess you got the outline over there. So that's what I was getting ready to get at. Got your paperwork ready. You are what you eat. Availability and affordability. Preparation, raw food, and cooked food is what we're speaking on for our listeners.
Fresh food. Walk into the grocery store. First part of the grocery store is what? Produce. Go around the corner, you get to the meat, dairy, go around the back. It's all perishables, basically.
Right.
The perimeter of the grocery store. That's the most expensive food in the store. Why? Because it's the most valuable.
Right.
It can do the most for you.
Right.
Everything on the aisles, outside of Rolling Bones seasoning, it's terrible. It's all processed. Not all of it, but the majority of the things that are in boxes or packages are processed. Well, for the listener, what does process mean? Well, have you ever seen a pancake treat? No, the flour comes from something. What does flour come from? Have you ever seen a flour treat?
Yeah.
No, what does flour come from? Flour comes from grain. What kind of grain? What do they do to it to where it can sit on the shelf for 6 months?
Yeah, and not go bad.
I saw like the Dinty Moore roast beef packages with mashed potatoes and gravy. Now I understand the frozen food, but how is it that you can have a whole meal in a box at room temperature for months, and it's supposed to be good for me? So back to like flour, corn. It would do everybody a favor to just look up what corn is used for. The majority of the products on the aisles in the grocery store comes from corn. They can process corn into everything. Everything.
Pick up what he putting down. That's all I'm gonna say.
Look up, watch this video, What the Health? That and Food Inc. FOODINC. And they both talk about processed foods. Processed foods is the killer of America right now. But when you can take corn and then turn it into a totally different food, a solid food, what are the things inside of it molecularly, scientifically?
Right.
And what does that do to the body?
Right.
It alters the way we look. It alters the way we're built. It makes us fat. It makes our body not be able to manage sugar. And like I said, I'm not a dietitian or a scientist or a doctor.
You're somebody who did their own research.
Yeah.
And got into it. You're not just barbecuing, man.
Nah.
You really thinking about this stuff.
I really think about it. And not that this is an infomercial about my food, but when I prepare food, of course, when people order barbecue, they order side dishes. I make sure that I buy the best ingredients. And it's not because I don't buy because of price.
Right.
I buy because it's the best ingredient. I'm not saying that I buy the healthiest. It's a custom barbecue catering company. So when I do a consultation with the customer, I'm asking them what flavor profiles are we trying to satisfy, who's the most important guest, And so then we design a menu around them. But when I go to whatever source that I'm buying stuff from, whether it's Restaurant Depot or anyone else, I make sure that I buy the best ingredients, and I try not to buy overly processed. Overly processed means when you turn it around on the back, it doesn't look like a Lysol bottle.
Yeah,
full of
ingredients.
Right.
Yeah.
It has a date that says used by, and it needs to be a week or so away from that.
Right.
And then I fry it.
Okay. Exactly.
No, I don't do a lot of fried because it's not my genre of food. But processed food, listeners, go look up what's in the ingredients, what it takes to make corn into all the stuff you see. The liquids, the syrups, the sauces, all that stuff comes from corn, and then glucose.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called monosodium, something,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, I just said that word once or twice before.
Once or twice. Well, it's before lunch, and I'm not gonna try.
Yeah.
Saturated fats.
Mm-hmm.
Those come from corn. Beef. They're not supposed to eat corn. But what was the big thing in the late 70s, early 80s? Corn-fed beef.
Corn-fed beef. Yeah.
Right. They were using corn. They use corn to feed beef because it makes them grow faster.
Right.
But the cow doesn't know how to process that.
Mm-hmm.
Cows' bodies know how to process grass. Cows don't have cutting teeth, or they have mushers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we feed cows corn. So if bad stuff is going into the cow, and then we eat the cow, where's the bad stuff going now?
Yeah.
Into us.
Yeah.
Speaking of teeth, I love meat. Don't get me wrong. I am a barbecuetarian. I'm loving that.
I like it too, man. It's gonna catch on. I'm gonna see you with a shirt with it on there next week.
Absolutely. Hashtag barbecuetarian.
Yeah.
But think about our body and meat consumption, and elephant's body and meat consumption. The elephant is one of the biggest animals on earth, right? One of the strongest animals on earth, right? How much meat does it eat?
Not much.
None.
None at all? I was going to say not much. Well, I said not much, but I didn't know it was none.
Yeah, he said that.
Okay.
Give a shout out to Willow Ridge High School for that one.
You know what? All right. While you joking, Ms. Ray Battle said, I'm about out of seasoning. I need to replay how I can get more. I guess she was saying reply how I can get more. So yeah, she want more meat. More seasoning.
It's coming.
Okay.
He
got you.
Send me an email, rollingbonescatering@gmail.com. Include your address. I'll put the quantity up, and I will send you an invoice with shipping details.
Ms. Battle, the email is rolling at the bottom, so you can check that out.
Mm-hmm. But the elephant and the human, we think we need meat for protein, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the elephant eats nothing but grass.
Right.
The cow eats nothing but grass, but we eat the meat. Why don't we just eat more grass?
Mm.
Think about our teeth.
Interesting.
Lions have incisors, big piercing teeth, right? And cutting teeth along the side.
Right.
We have cutters and mashers in our mouth. You know why? Because you're not supposed to be eating a bunch of meat. You're supposed to be mashing fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Lions, they have teeth meant to pierce to kill the animal and cutters to cut the meat up. Because they don't sit there and chew food like we do.
Right.
They get it to a small enough piece and then just swallow it.
Right.
They eat to live. We eat because we greedy.
To satisfy.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to control it. I'm not saying could you eat at all, because I'm not.
You're a barbecuetarian.
I'm a barbecuetarian. I cannot say that. I'm going to leave here and there's going to be meat on it. But it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, choices and options.
Right.
We have to decide about the portion sizes. But those decisions come from educating yourself about, okay, how much meat do I need? Or do I need any meat? What kinds of meat do I need if you think you need meat? Mm-hmm. But do some research. Just Google it. It's easy to Google anything. Right. Not saying that everything's on the internet is true, because it is not. But talk about chicken. What happened to the chicken? Yeah, you said that too, Tom. What happened to the chicken? I'm like, it crossed the road. I don't know what happened to it. We'll get to that. But listeners and yourself, think, what happened to the chicken? We're going to get to it. But preparing food, when you think about making good choices, okay, I choose to buy more vegetables. We don't like vegetables. Why? because they taste like vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's when you learn how to prepare it.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to prepare a squash to where it tastes good.
Yeah.
And I don't mean a whole bunch of Tony Saturates or rolling bones, but find out what flavors can be combined. Experiment. You know, it's COVID time, so everybody's at home. You got a lot of time to figure it out.
Exactly.
Figure out how to enhance your body. Figure out how to fuel your body. Make choices and options away from the options and choices that we've been making. Break the habit, break the cycle. You know, raw food. Now, that's something I do know about.
But hold on. Before you, because you said something, because I'm listening to you, I'm trying to, like my man T.I. said, I'm picking up everything you're putting down, right? So you mentioned about people preparing the vegetables to where they taste good, which includes something you said earlier when you consult with people who seek you out to do the custom barbecues.
Right.
One of the things, I'm going to say the first thing, but one of the things you asked them is what flavors are they looking to satisfy?
Right.
I found that very interesting. Not that that's never been done before, but it's like that's part of what you do.
Right.
So in saying that and preparing a vegetable to where it tastes right, I guess what you're saying is people really need to understand their palate. You know, I don't know if there's anything you can speak on that behalf, but that's a question that you ask, you know. And so if I'm not thinking about it in that manner, what would you tell the listeners, or what would you tell that person that's watching you right now, and like, how can they understand what they like? If they, you know, if that even makes sense to you, to where, you know, how can they tell you what they want? You know, what is an example of, you know, finding out how to satisfy their palate?
Try something you've never had.
Bingo. I knew you was gonna say that, you know, because that's what I was gonna say,
right.
You know, but you know, I have to ask those questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to step outside of your normal if you want to be considered abnormal.
Yeah.
If you're not happy with your normal, okay, let's go be abnormal.
Yeah. Because I always say you don't know what you don't know.
You do not know.
You do not know. So step out, find out, you know, and then that's also expanding your palate. And if you don't like it, you just don't like it. Right. You know, so that's cool too.
Right. The first time somebody tried the chitlin, they probably thought, oh my God, what is
first time I smelt the chitlin.
Yeah, first time I seen it.
Yeah.
However, I like it.
Yeah.
But that's my palate. But that is the advice. Try something you've never tried. When you're in the grocery store, pick up something you've never eaten. When you're at home, and turn to the Food Network or Google it. Go to YouTube. Everything in the world is out there.
Right. Right.
You know,
information age.
Google
that, dude, David. No, Google. You know, Google something for us. We're gonna come to you in a minute.
Well, we're looking at Burger King.
Yeah.
The impossible. Oh, you know, it's a funny thing. Since we're speaking about vegetables and whatnot, plant-based foods. It's a big thing now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I get it, but don't be fooled. Two things. Number one, the hamburgers in high school. That was not meat.
Oh no,
that was soybean.
Oh no,
that was a plant.
That's what I was going to say. Soy was a thing.
Yeah, soy is a bean.
Yeah,
those are soybean burgers. So plant based isn't new.
Mm-hmm.
What is new though is how they can produce enough plants to meet demand.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're putting bull crap in the ground to make the plants grow fast enough, you're doing the same thing that farmers are doing to the chickens,
the B12 and all that stuff.
Everything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I started talking about what happened to the chicken.
Yeah.
That's the moment.
We're coming back.
We're coming back to what happened to the chicken. But yeah, plant-based foods, that's a great idea. Great concept.
I don't know if I want you to tell me what happened to the chicken, man. I'm feeling like it's not a good... I'm feeling like I don't want to know. But go ahead.
I'm going to tell you what Eddy Machette won't.
Y'all comment when he tells us what happened to the chicken. Tell you what happened to the chicken.
And it's nothing magical. Well, it kind of is.
Yeah.
But the chicken. So we're getting closer to meat or not to meat. And we've already touched on that a little bit.
Absolutely.
It's basically managing what your knowledge is, what your information is. I'm not saying quit eating anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying break the habits, get some information, make choices, and step out there and reach for new opportunities of living.
Right.
I'm not saying you're going to lose 100 pounds.
Right.
I'm not saying you're going to be fine or fat.
That ain't your area.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. Fine. It's about fine. I know a little bit about fine. No, so we have all these words now. We have a new one, barbecuetarian.
Yes.
By definition, is someone who thrives on the flavorful content of that good smoky rib.
Man, hold on. You done came up with a word and already got the definition. I like that. Come on, give it to us again, man. It's commercial time. This is Eddy Machette, the owner of Rolling Bones Custom BBQ and Catering. He is a what?
Barbecue-tarian. You too can be a barbecue-tarian. 1-800 barbecue.
And what is a barbecue-tarian again?
One who thrives.
As y'all can see, we're being silly this morning, but this is my man. I think it's funny. Yeah.
But we have vegetarian, vegan, and pescatarian.
Mm-hmm.
What are either of those three? And I was going to look up the formal definition of each one just to have my stuff together.
Yeah.
I'd rather have it like you say. To me, a vegetarian is somebody who only eats vegetables.
Right. Right.
To me, a vegetarian and a vegan are the same thing. But because I do know what a vegan is, because people told me, they don't eat vegetables that are cooked with any type of animal byproduct or whatever. You can't fry green beans because the grease comes from animal, stuff like that.
See, I haven't got into it like that. So again, if we have any vegetarians, pescatarians, give us comment, please.
Yeah,
comment what you say or what is the definition of both pescatarian and vegetarian. Because again, you say a vegetarian doesn't do what now?
A vegan doesn't do the same things vegetarians do.
Okay, yeah. So I said pescatarian, vegetarian, but we also have to add vegan. Right. So pescatarian, vegetarian, and vegans. Put y'all's definition up for me, please. Go ahead. Put it in the comments.
Pescatarian. Someone who repeatedly gets on my nerves. Pescatarian.
Let me tell you something. I do not endorse that statement because I'm sure I got pescatarians watching the show. Y'all are welcome to keep watching the show.
It's of a Latin root though. Pesca meaning fish.
Yeah.
They're fish eaters. But then you can't do everything to the fish. You can't fry it in certain types of grease because now it has other animal pork fat in it. So it's a real science. It's a real science to being a true.
I haven't gotten that serious with it yet, or don't know if I will, but it's interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I stopped eating meat last year for about 8 months. And people were like, how did you stop eating meat? You barbecue.
And you barbecue.
Well, number one, with rolling.
And you eat chitlins.
Facts.
Yeah.
But when I cook, I don't want to eat. I mean, you lose your appetite because you're around a bunch of food.
Right.
But once I came up with the perfect Rolling Bones blend, I had it bottled and certified as a real deal season.
Right.
I didn't have to taste my food anymore because I know what it tastes like. So I can cook and use the same recipe, same process every time. You don't have to go back and check anything.
Gotcha.
Because here's one thing about food. If you taste it when it's cooked and it tastes bad, it's already cooked and tastes bad.
Right. Right.
If you're going to do it for a living, you better have a process. Yeah, you spot check every now and then. But I stopped eating meat.
Now, that's interesting to me. And I don't mean to cut you off, but that's interesting because I never thought about that. If you're going to what'd you say? If you're going to barbecue, if you're going to prepare food for a living, you better have a process. Is that what you said?
You got to have a process.
And it's interesting that you say you don't have to taste every time because you know what it's like. How do you get that comfortable? Because I guess it's the process. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how do you ensure that? Like
consistency and from top down and bottom up. By the same type of chicken, cook it at the same temperature for the same amount of time, season it with the same amount of seasoning every time. It's going to taste the same.
It's going to taste the
every
same.
time.
And that wasn't for me. That was for you listeners out there. Yeah. Because, I mean, Burger King, they don't take a bite out your sandwich before they give it to you.
Absolutely not.
It's definitely a process. But for our independent people, I just wanted to touch base on that because when I hear it, it's like, you know it, but you don't really see it that way. Right. You know what I'm saying? You don't really think about it. But that's just how simple it is. The process is what people need to understand. Whether you're baking, whether you're frying fish, it's about getting the details and stick to those details every single time.
And as it relates to what we're talking about, habits are formed out of processes.
Yeah.
Just want to change a few of your processes. Yeah. Just want to change a few of your processes. Like we said earlier, neither one of us doctors, scientists, or whatever.
Yeah.
But if we tweak some things a little bit based on the information we have that's available to us about what we're consuming, build a process around that, and develop a new life.
Excuse me.
And break the chain of the lies that I'm fat because Big Mama was fat.
Right.
You fat because you sit down,
Choosing
eating a box of donuts and Kool-Aid and milk.
Yep.
So we kind of answered this question: is meat healthy? Sure, it is, in moderation.
Right.
Does it hurt you? Sure, it does when it's not managed properly. But I'm just about the chicken.
Yeah, here it comes. But on here you said what happened to the chicken and the fish. And so we just gonna talk about the chicken, or we talking about both?
We're gonna talk about both.
Okay, so here it is. Here's the moment.
I'm gonna get the fish out the way first.
Okay, go ahead.
They start raising fish in farms. Why do they raise fish on farms?
I'm all ears, bro.
So they can raise a bunch of them.
Okay.
In order to raise a bunch of them fast enough to meet demand, what do they have to give them?
Yeah.
Food that isn't natural, food that they won't get in the lake.
Right.
Food that they can take a fingerling fish and in 6 months it's on your plate. But it would take 2 years for that fish to grow that big if you were in a lake. So
that's good. And I said battle. I'm sorry, Miss Ray Biddle. I apologize.
Yeah.
I saw it differently earlier, but I see it's Miss Ray Biddle. Shout out to you. She said, "I get it. Passion becomes process." Absolutely.
Since we're going to shout out to these people, boy Reed, but have you had the catfish in the store and it tastes? It has a fishy taste.
Yeah.
But you've grown to think that's what a fish tastes like.
Yeah.
Well, I fish.
You fish.
Fish.
Yeah. Right. He deep sea fishing and stuff. Right. I'm seeing your posts. I'm like, boy, if you don't get your butt back to shore.
I fish in biblical terms. I gather.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know,
Don't scroll through his Facebook, boy. He was 28 feet long poles and out there catching sharks.
I was taught by the best. I was taught by the best, but my father, Eddy Machette III, was a pop.
Shout out to Pops, man.
Taught me how to barbecue, taught me how to manage a fire, taught me all that kind of stuff. Definitely shouts out to him, my mother. But when you think about mass producing something, are fish companies or food companies interested in meeting demand, or are they interested in giving you a healthy option? You have to make a choice.
Right.
It's out there for you, but they're gonna produce it fast enough. So that's what happened to the chicken. Have you seen some of these chickens in the stores lately?
Absolutely. Looking like the chicken Hulk.
Biggest David. Yeah. I saw a chicken thigh. It was a pack of 2 leg quarters. Bro, it looked like 2 folded up baby arms. I was like, what the heck is that? A chicken is supposed to be abnormal. Very abnormal. Yeah, it's a chicken, full-grown chicken, ready for the plate is supposed to be like 3.5 pounds. It was 2 leg quarters. It was 4 pounds. Just the 2 leg quarters. Come on, man. I guess I'm not on ABC or CBS, so I can talk about the story. It was Food Town or Foodorama. Yeah. One of the two. I go there because they have a great vegetables. Yeah. Because the culture that shops there the most, they eat a lot of vegetables. But I saw that and I was like, man, that's just like what the video that I was talking about, Food Inc. They were talking about chickens. Tyson chicken, Pilgrim's Pride. A chicken used to take about 3 months to go from the egg to the plate. And that's a term used in the poultry industry, egg to plate ratios. It's 37 days now from an egg to being raised to the time it's usually on someone's plate.
37 days.
37 days.
Wow.
You ever notice when you buy chicken nowadays, the legs are broken? That doesn't happen in processing. That happens when they're being raised. What's the biggest part of the chicken? The breast. Right. The breast is so big nowadays because there's a bigger demand for white meat. So they genetically modified the chicken to grow breasts so big that chickens can't hold their weight as they're growing up, so their legs break. Come on, man. Chickens aren't raised on farms where they run around.
You're gonna make me stop, because I'm a white meat eater. I tried Come on, man.
I tried to tell you what happened to the chicken. Telling you nothing but facts. So chickens, you see free-range chickens. Those are the chickens that run around on farms. Well, chickens that you get from Tyson and Pilgrim Pride and all the other mass producers, they're raised in chicken houses. And they're these 100-yard long, basically pavilions with no windows. It's completely dark all the time. So the chickens are calm. And they just sit there and eat and eat.
That's abnormal.
When they do get up, their body weight is so heavy, but they're so young, their legs break. That's why you have broken chicken legs in packages of chicken. Not because they're being mishandled in processing.
Y'all pay attention to that. I've never really paid attention like that, and that's crazy, man.
Hey, it's just like, what was his name? Bushwick Bill.
Yeah.
Had a case of barbecue broke legs. What was it? Chucky's back.
Chucky's back.
That's what happened to the chicken. So what's in the chicken to make it get that big?
Mm-hmm.
Steroids, antibiotics to prevent them from catching diseases from laying in their own feces while they're growing up in those 25 or 30 days in there.
Right.
Because remember, you got another few days of doing processing, transportation, sitting in the grocery store. So that 37-day egg to plate number, really, you're going to take away 5 or 6 of those days. That's a 30-day-old chicken. A month. What used to take 3 months, we can get done in a month and make it almost twice the size of what God made it to be.
Right, right.
You know what the number one cause of diabetes is?
Talk to me.
Chicken.
Come on, man.
It's not about sugar. It's the things that are in food that you ingest that takes your body's ability away to manage sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken, that's what happened to the chicken. That's what happened to the chicken. Now, am I going to eat some chicken?
In moderation.
In moderation. Now,
everything's about moderation.
Everything is about moderation.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you fry it hard enough, you get everything out of it.
Yo, so silly. He kills everything.
He kills everything.
Yeah. You're so crazy. Drop the chicken on the floor. Give him all that knowledge and tell him go fry it.
Right.
What you gonna believe?
Yes. Obviously, fine. Boiling something in a pot of animal fat. Yes. Never a good idea. It started because that's how frying came out. Mm-hmm. I wish I was around the first pot of fried chicken. Who made it first? And what they said.
Came up with a great idea there.
Who came up with that? But chicken, white meat. Every corner in every suburb, not every urban corner, but there's a chicken restaurant or a restaurant that has chicken on it. Mm-hmm. Who's the number one buyer of chicken in the world?
I'm gonna let you go and say it. I know.
McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
So if McDonald's is buying the most chicken, who has the upper hand or who has to say so in how chickens are produced?
Yeah. The person that's buying.
The person that's buying.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've bitten into a chicken McNugget lately, it is chicken. But they take real meat from a real chicken. Yeah. And they mix it with a bunch of other stuff to make 1 pound of chicken into 10 pounds of chicken.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's after you bite through all that oil that you fried it in.
And the flour that's made from processed food.
Yeah.
So, it's a combination of things. It's a matter of choices. Every kid wants chicken McNuggets. My daughter, she's 13, about to be 14. She still wants chicken McNuggets. And I tell her no all the time. Every now and then, every couple months, yeah, you get chicken.
That is done in light moderation, I'm sure.
Very.
Yeah. Because they don't understand that, They don't understand that. And that's why this conversation is important, because, we joke about it. We have to joke about it, honestly, because this is not that type of conversation people actually want to even listen to. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear it. And that's the problem within itself. But, I know we give them some good knowledge, so I appreciate you. So what I always like to do, and I done missed a little time, is this your commercial time, brother. So let the people know, again, who you are, what you do, how they can follow you, your Instagram, your Facebook, all that, and your email. And I'm gonna put it up here on the screen as well. It's break time, commercial time. You gotta pay the bills.
Gotta pay the bills. Shoot, I'm Eddy Machette, Rolling Bones, Custom BBQ Catering. That is who I am. I don't care where you're at, wherever you're hungry, that's where we do service at. We do weddings, bar mitzvahs, birthday parties, COVID clean, all of that, whatever it takes. What I don't do is sell cheap. And I'm not saying anything about price.
Right.
I sell value. I don't like to do things just because somebody offered you a price. Can you beat it? Well, let's start from the top. Let's sit down and talk about what you want done.
Yeah.
I sell value.
Pull out that Foursquare.
Which one are you most interested in?
Yes. Absolutely.
But I sell value. And that's the biggest thing. I'm not the best out there, but I believe that I have the best ability.
Yeah.
And that's evolved. That's evolving every day. I have the best abilities because I have resources. I have you. I have Marcus Davis. I have good service and good products. Of course, I'm going to say, but I do.
Yeah.
But I build my business with other people.
Right.
Not myself.
Right. And that's good. And this is another thing, for people to understand, since, we come from that salesman background. I know people know you. They know you've been in sales. People that know me, they know I've been in sales. But it's just always tripped me out that people say, you're trying to sell me. And you know how I was. I'm not trying to sell you, but if you're not a salesperson, if you don't understand the process, it's a must for me to do what I do, because then I'm not selling you, I'm pushing something on you. Right. So if I don't break it down and I don't ask you what flavors you're trying to get, if I don't ask you, how you like the meat cooked and how well all of that stuff, if I don't ask you these things, I don't have your well-being in mind. Right. So I have to ask you those questions, and then a lot of people misconstrue that and they feel like, you're just trying to sell me. And it's quite the opposite, because if I don't ask you at least 10 questions, if I don't get to know you, get to know your family, you know what I'm saying? Get to know if you have diabetes, all of that stuff, I'm sure is part of your pitch. So you have to do that, man. And I want people to understand that if you ever consult with my man, just understand those things are, if he's not doing it, let me know, because I'm gonna get on it, But no, it's that's a must, people have to understand that, it's a must.
If we were talking about professional development, organizational development, and selling skills, if I was doing one of those speeches, I would highlight on the fact that bridge building conversation is a must at the beginning of any relationship.
Absolutely.
Because once we get to the relationship part, then we're going to have to deal with conflict resolution.
Absolutely.
Conflicts happen, but if there's enough bridge building questions that have been answered, the bridge can hold the weight of the conflict. Yeah. And the resolution part is all we have to worry about.
Absolutely.
Instead of the conflict.
Yeah.
Because we have to get across the bridge so we can get to stable ground, so we can put more bridge building pieces together in the relationship so we continue to elevate.
Absolutely. And it's funny you said that, man. I know there's somebody that's listening that is going to talk to me about that later, but it's funny because that's what happens every day, and the key thing you said is that if you haven't built enough to address what's really going on, there's no way that bridge is going to fall. That bridge, which San Francisco, you thought was a San Francisco bridge, is now that little bridge that, is crossing the lake, and you can't handle the traffic, going across the San Francisco bridge. So that's funny. That's interesting. And so people need to realize that, man. So there you have it, man. Eddy Machette, Rolling Bones, Custom BBQ. And so we can continue. I just wanted you to get there. Oh, you didn't speak about Facebook and Instagram, or do you have that?
I do have a Facebook. It's Rolling Bones on Facebook. Instagram is Rolling Bones Barbecue.
Okay.
Or Eddy Machette. You can put Eddy Machette or Rolling Bones. Make sure you spell bones with a Q.
No, how do you spell Eddy?
EDDY.
EDDY. Because I started doing the IE at one point. I was like, oh man, I'm tripping. It's EDDY, and it's on the screen. You can see it, Eddy Machette. But yeah, man. So listen, what I know something else you were gonna talk about. You looking at it faster than I am. So continue.
We talked about the chicken, and I was going to talk about diabetes, and we did kind of. Now I don't have diabetes. I do have. My father is pre-diabetic, but one of my best friends, my high school quarterback, Bertie Manuel, he has diabetes, and it really affects him. Bert is the best athlete I've ever seen put a cleat on.
Wow.
Very intelligent person, diet conscious, all of the things that you're supposed to do. College football, went to the pros, had a great career there, still built like he plays in the NFL.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But diabetes, he wears one of those, and if you're listening, Bert or Terry, his wife, hey, how y'all doing? I hate to be talking about y'all, but you know, God gave you a story, so it can be told.
Absolutely.
He wears one of those insulin pumps, I believe it is, to help him manage it. So it's not that he ate bad. It's not that, he ate candy bars or whatever, anything like that. His body doesn't manage sugar well. So from his perspective, he has to manage his diet specifically at all times. So when you are diabetic, I know people that have diabetes that aren't on top of it like Bert. I mean, Bert's the type of person that he's always been on top of everything, because he's Superman.
Right.
But I know people that have diabetes gotta eat until they feel bad and then they'll take their shot or whatever they do. That's not managing it.
Right.
That's getting high enough to drive.
Putting a Band-Aid on it. Yes, you're going to have to pull off in a couple days.
Yeah, I'm only going to have 4 shots and then I'll go home.
Yeah.
Well, just because you don't feel drunk,
don't mean you're not
swerving.
Yeah.
So if you have diabetes, your choices and options go back to the top of what we talked about. Do the research. Do doctors know everything? Absolutely not. What do doctors do? They practice. They
ask you all the questions.
Right.
And then, what do you call it? Trial and error, prescribe you certain things.
And they have protocol. The insurance company will pay for what they won't pay for.
And I deal with high blood pressure. And so people, my family and everybody trying to get me to take high blood pressure pills. I'm not doing it. I'm going to do some holistic stuff. I'm going to be like, is it Bert? Is that your man's name? That's what I'm going to do,
Right.
And I just feel like that's way healthier than, popping them pills that they're trying to give you, because it's just like what we're talking about with food. I don't know what's in there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's in there. So I'm forgive me if that offends anybody, but that's just me. That's my preference. I'm talking about what I'm going to do, so I'm not going to take those pills like that.
I dealt with a nutritionist before my wife, when she was sick, we talked to a nutritionist. And the very first meeting that we had with her, she told us, number one, I'm not a medical doctor. I don't do prescriptions. It's all about food and the management of food. I'm going to teach you about what foods do and how they address cures and causes versus medicine addresses symptoms.
Yeah.
You have high blood pressure, so they give you something to bring the blood pressure down, not to get rid of the high blood pressure. Food does something to your body to get rid of the causes.
And that goes back to the old days. Did they have all this big pharma back in the day? No, the juices and berries did everything. You know what I'm saying? So we have to get. That's why I was so intrigued about this conversation, because it goes beyond just eat vegetables, blah blah blah. But you have to actually understand the science and the marketing and who gets paid behind all this stuff. And there's people going into the stores just oblivious to what they're buying, and we all do it. You know what I'm saying? We all do it at some point in time. But I like how you said is you got to get rid of the myths and the untruths and stuff like that. So again, I think this is awesome. So, proceed, my brother.
Speaking of big pharma, medicine. I don't like to take medicine. I have some issues going on with my shoulder, my back, my hip, hands, and all that. Football finally caught up with me. Neurologist told me the other day I got a bad Carfax. I was like, all right, that's 5 MRIs done.
Wow.
That's another thing. So, pharmaceuticals. Pills are made from chemicals. The chemicals come from what?
Yeah, what?
You ever seen a penicillin tree?
Yeah, exactly. What?
Now, the basis of a lot of medicines are in our natural environment. But you have to consume them. Dr. Sebi, I want to find time to read all about him, but, people call him a witch doctor and this and that. No, he wasn't a witch doctor. He used what the earth provided and to treat ailments. But if we look at pharmaceuticals, just drugs all the time to take care of us, that's where we're going to be, and that's where we are.
Right.
You take one prescription for this, but it has 16 side effects, so they give you another one to offset 3 of those side effects. So now you got 4 prescriptions for 1 headache.
Exactly. To maintain all the stuff that each one of those pills is going to give you. And then it really don't stop, but they're not going to just keep giving you the medicine, and then you develop something else, and then you go back for that,
Because you keep eating fried chicken.
Yeah, exactly.
They give you stuff to deal with the fried chicken effects.
To make you eat it.
You see what happened to the chicken. Chicken should have stayed across the street.
Man, chicken crossed the road and he should have got hit. That's what he should have been.
Now look at it. So diet, medicines. Diet doesn't mean cutting back. Diet means a restructuring of your intake.
Yeah.
We're not like cars where you can put low grade gas in it and still go 100,000 miles.
Mm-hmm.
You might need a few more tune-ups.
Yeah.
But you keep putting low grade fuel in your body, and you're gonna have something that you can't get rid of.
It's gonna break down.
Yeah, it's gonna break down. It's strokes, heart attacks. I'm 49, about to be 50 next year, God willing. You were 42 years old. 50 coming, bro.
Yeah.
Right down the street.
Yeah.
Right. I'm about to qualify to live in one of those single apartments.
Assisted living.
Yeah,
assisted living.
You only got to be 55.
Come on, hey, I didn't even realize that you was almost 50, bro.
God, no.
You're looking good, brother.
I wouldn't give myself a day over 48. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
But medicines, yes, there's a lane for that. I'm not saying medicine is bad. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
But I do know that you have to have a prescription for everything.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me Flexeril. It's a muscle relaxer. But then it said, don't drive, don't operate heavy machinery. So I was like, man, yeah, it really hurt. It hurt bad enough for me to go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
But I really went to see what was causing it. They gave me the prescription. But I was like, man, you can't even drive with it. And I've seen those, labels on prescriptions before, but now my mind is a little bit different.
Yeah.
If I can't function,
because it's you,
right? Mm-hmm. I need to go do all my driving and everything and stop at the liquor store. Then take it. No. If it's that bad to where you can't function, why do we ingest so many drugs?
Right.
Like that. And I get it. It's a muscle relaxer, so that specific pill. But it goes back to what I was talking about. If your body can't handle it, what is it doing to my kidney?
Right.
What is my kidney really doing? Even though my kidney might not hurt, how's my kidney processing and dealing with it?
Slowly breaking down.
Yeah.
Slowly breaking down.
Yes, sir, man. But
so we've kind of touched on it. So how does a diet and food choices affect diabetes? And is diabetes genetic? Which we touched on that in the beginning. So speak on those direct.
There are some genetic precursors, I guess you will, that can lead one to say it does have a tie. But just because one person has it doesn't mean the other person's going to get it. Your body may have the propensity to develop it if you have the same bad habits to which they had it. Mm-hmm. So yes, it's genetically attached to the precursor.
Right.
But if a woman has a baby, then she's HIV positive, she's likely to have a baby that is HIV positive. That's not genetic.
That's not going to necessarily happen.
But it's because the child went through a thing. Mm-hmm. We go through the same thing. We have the same habits that we see. Diet and diabetes, short term. If you have diabetes type 2 and you go eat a Whopper and some large fries, you're gonna have some short term effects today.
Right.
If you start to fuel your body with foods that get rid of the oxidants and the toxins in your body. Your body is going to be able to process more. Your body can rejuvenate, and regenerate itself. Everything except like the liver and the heart. But yes, diet does affect diabetes. Short term, immediate impact. Long term, proper diet can get rid of the things that are causing your body to have a diabetic reaction. Poor insulin distribution and production, those things. Yes, and yes, and yes.
Yeah, that's what's up.
The myths and the lies.
Yeah.
I got to tell the story because I don't want people to think that I'm not a doctor, scientist, anything. So the other day I had an itch to make some soul food. I feel ashamed to say, but I made pig feet, hog maws, black-eyed peas with pork in it, and crowder peas, rice, 30-weight gravy. Man, it was the most unhealthy meal ever. But put hot sauce on it.
You killed me. But put hot sauce on it. Fried. I get it.
The spices. It's got to be something.
Yeah.
Spices.
Yeah.
Vinegar.
And I do no spices at all. That's great.
No hot food at all?
I can't do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you'll definitely enjoy rolling bones.
Can't do it.
We are going to come out, I guess, the same as plug. I am developing a rolling bones and birds bowl.
Okay.
One's going to be a little bit spicy. This one is all-purpose.
Yeah.
But I'm going to kick it up a notch.
Okay.
Reaching, stepping out.
Yeah.
Trying something. Health-wise, you want to be normal, stay where you're at. You want to be abnormal, which in America right now, we're a fat nation. Abnormal is thin, where fat used to be rare. If you want to be abnormal, do something different. Change your habits, change your choices, get better options, get some information, get out of that comfort zone. And don't believe in the marketing machines of America telling you to eat this, eat that, eat this, eat that.
Yeah.
Because you will do just what they need.
Your man Trey Thomas said, Eddy Machette is setting a record for the most valuable words without a water break.
Parched.
Absolutely.
Yeah. On Larry King, they do give water.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. We got you some. Everyone needs to watch the documentary on What the Health.
Yes,
too.
absolutely.
That's my man, Coach Brown. Shout out to him. That's my shameless plug for Coach. He's the one who made the fabulous The Reach podcast shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate you on that, Coach. And yeah, he's tuning in and letting everybody know about what you said with that. What the Health? I'm gonna have to watch that myself.
Yeah, it's really good, man.
Yeah.
Really good.
Man, so it's already we're closing in on the time. But so here's what I like to say, because I know you, and for the ones that are in my network that don't know you, you're a barbecuetarian now. We know what that is. And you're speaking about health, because what I was sitting here thinking, man, you need to be a food consultant. That'd be another business that you can start if you haven't already started. But what?
My plate is heavy.
Your plate is heavy. But so I know it may be confusing if people have just tuned in. Eddy Machette, owner of Rolling Bones Custom BBQ and Catering. But the things that we're talking about, they're like, well, you barbecuing and this and that. And how does that relate to what he's doing? Well, basically what you were saying is that even with your business and your meats and the things that you're doing, you're telling them to do that in moderation. But at the same time, it's sort of like a separate conversation, so to speak, that you're also giving them. It's not that the information you've given today relates to you have this healthy meat or something like that. It's that you want people to be aware. You know what I'm saying?
Awareness.
You want them to understand and be as helpful. Be as healthy as they can be in their decisions. And I take my hats off to you for that, because in essence that kills the barbecuetarian thing for you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's not about that. It's like, if I don't drink, that don't mean I can't own a liquor store. You know what I'm saying? So. People are going to do it. People want barbecue, some people don't want barbecue. So you're speaking to everybody. Right. And that's for everybody who's tuned in. You've been listening. We appreciate it because you've given some value information, and so, anytime you have that urge for some barbecue, they can definitely get with you, or if they want to make their own, they can definitely get with the rub. I know they can see that and scoop that up. You can see it, the Rolling Bones. So talk more about this. Tell me, we touched on it, and I feel like we got off of it a little bit. So talk about the Rolling Bones season.
Rolling Bones season. Well, it was born out of having to go to the store and continually buy a bunch of seasonings. Seasonings are expensive. But it was also a flavor that I was looking for that I couldn't find in all the various products that are out there. And there's some good ones out there, don't get me wrong. But there's a flavor that I wanted to find, and it was somewhere in the smoky, savory, sweet area.
That sounds like my flavor.
And I just started experimenting at home. And I tell you, I didn't just start on my own. I went to YouTube and watched how people develop rubs. What are the basic things in a rub?
Yeah.
What are the basic things in an all-purpose seasoning? And so I started there. And so once I figured out the basic rub, the basic all-purpose seasoning, I started experimenting with things that I've never bought before.
Wow.
You know, I would go buy 4 or 5 different seasonings, coriander, ground coriander, all kind of different thymes. You know, there's thyme ain't thyme. There's a bunch of different thymes. There's a bunch of different paprikas. I started buying them, tasting them. Combine 2 together. I combined turmeric and ginger and see what they did to each other. I found it, and then I wanted a little bit more out of the ginger, so I added more of that. But then I took it and added the basic rub to it to see what all that did.
Right.
Then I said, okay, I want what coriander does to it, but I don't want it to taste like Old Bay.
Right. Right.
So then I did that. And eventually I got the 17 different ingredients. And I said, okay, here it is.
Wow.
And I tried it out on some very, very trustworthy people, my father. And if he said it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
Because he knows food. Then I tried it out. At the time, I was still in the car business. So, of course, I'm barbecuing at home, taking food to work.
Right.
People were telling me, man, that's good.
Yeah.
What's that?
Okay. Gotcha.
Right. So, but then I had to turn it into a professional product. So I went online and found 5 or 6 different people who produce and bottle things for you. Went and inspected their facilities, made sure that they were, you know, sanitary and FDA certified and all that. And trust me, some out there that's not.
Yeah.
And they offer a great price, a great product. Funny how I found the last person I was going to go inspect and choose ended up being somebody that knew my father. My father at the time had taken their Christmas photo. So when he said, "Are you Eddy Machette, the photographer?" I said, "No, that's my father." Oh, he did our Christmas picture. Small world.
Small world.
I had already been to 5 other ones around town. You know, spent a lot of time and going over there, looking at living pricing and all those different meetings. Right around the corner from my father's house, somebody that my father knows ended up being my producer. So I sent him the recipe on paper, and he looked at it. And he said, "That sounds interesting, but when you produce this in a mass quantity, these flavors are going to do some different things." He said, "Let me make you a batch." And he made about 10 pounds of it. And he was right, but that's what he does. I forget what his actual title is as far as in that genre, but he's a genius when it comes to the spices. So he was right. I tasted it, and it tasted a lot different than what I was making in 1 gallon,
Right,
1 pint amounts. But then he had a consultation with me and said, if we bring this down, and bring this up, you'll get what you have in the original.
He gave you a fine tuning.
Right.
That's what's up.
But it was an education.
Right.
I learned about volume production. And once you run, the store-bought seasoning, I was buying the individual seasonings. Once you run them through a processing machine and blend them all together, they get ground up a little bit more. So then I had to learn to buy coarse everything. So when they process it, it turns out like this.
Yeah.
And that's where it was all born, man. I ordered a pallet of it and gave away most of it.
Yeah.
And then ordered another pallet.
And you've been working, man.
Sold some of it. This is my 3rd pallet of it, and I'm selling more of it. I had an order from Vallejo, California the other day.
Wow.
He got his order. He said he grilled some pork chops today. It was awesome. So with the power of working, stepping out there, taking a chance on somebody telling me it's not good, I was able to find out.
Yeah.
But it's easy to be your own biggest supporter.
Right.
But I want somebody to tell me it's not good. I'm willing to find out that there's more people that don't like it from me trying than nobody saying anything about it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's huge, man. And that's big news, man. You know, and I'm proud of you, bro, because you know we've been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot we haven't been through together. So this is big news for me. You know what I'm saying? And I figure myself to be a barbecuitarian too. So I'm gonna have to get something. I want to get with you on more of a volume type of deal too. We'll talk about that. But yeah, man, that's major. You know, that is major. So I thought I heard you say something earlier, but are you in the stores yet, or what?
No,
not in the stores.
No,
yet.
I was just talking about stuff. You know, I don't want to go to stores yet.
Okay.
From the business side, the market is saturated, and the stores want so much of your effort.
Gotcha.
If I can figure out how to get to as many people as possible through the new way of shopping and buying online, which I will. Yeah. I mean, it's not if.
Yeah. Everybody can spread the word. Yeah.
But I started out online, and I want to stay online. Okay. The stores are great for visibility.
Right.
But that's a thing of the past. Yeah. We don't shop that way anymore. Yeah. You know, I'll be on Amazon shortly. It's just a matter of working out the details. Okay.
Man, good news.
Agreeing with their numbers. But when there's a king, there's not too much negotiating that can happen. Yeah. I have to figure out my numbers that make sense, how much I need to produce.
And make it make sense to them.
Right. Yeah. I got you. Because once they have it in their warehouse, I have to market it enough to sell it. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's getting to that destination and getting that door open, man. So look, brother, we are overtime now, but you know, I think again that you've given some awesome information. You've given a little bit about your journey, and I know that's going to be inspiring to somebody who's watching, or somebody who will watch, and that's what my show is all about. Every week, my goal, I pray to God, let me reach one person. You know what I'm saying? That is my goal. It's been happening consistently. I need to count again. I think this is episode 36 so far for the Reach podcast, you know, and that's a feat of my own, you know, and I'm like, man, I didn't expect that, you know what I mean? And so now I'm thinking business wise, I gotta, you know, turn it into what it's really meant to be, because God placed this on my heart for a reason. Right. And the show was actually supposed to be named something else, you know, and then I forget now how I even came with the Reach, but it was just placed in my spirit, you know what I'm saying? And I thought it was perfect, you know. But I know, and I don't even remember the name of what I came with at first, but, you know, I did my due diligence and I looked it up and it was already taken. And I'm like, oh, I can't do that. You know, what am I naming now? Because I was ready, you know, I was ready to go.
Story?
No, I don't know what you're doing. No.
That's where the Q came from in Bones.
Oh, okay.
BQNES BBQ.
Okay.
Rolling Bones.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you were going to say something about the name. I thought you were going to say it should have been named The Heady Show. You know, who has the bigger head, y'all? Me or Ed? But no, man.
That's
last commercial.
That's two hats together. Really.
Yeah, already. We used to make head jokes all the time, but I know my man Greg Jackson is watching. He's really the winner. You know?
Right. No, absolutely.
But no, man. So this has been the Reach Podcast Show with LeVar Ellis, man, where every show reaches beyond the ears of listeners. Mm-hmm. And last opportunity, you know, do the plugs, you know, let people know how to find you. Name your company, brother, and we're going to get up out of here.
Man, my last thing is live, speak, inspire someone, and grow.
And grow, absolutely. That's it. Yeah. Tell them about the company again.
Rolling Bones Custom BBQ and Catering. You can find me on Facebook at Rolling Bones or on Instagram, Rolling Bones BBQ. Email is
at the bottom of
Rolling Bones with a Q, ROLLINGBQNES @gmail.com.
Absolutely.
I will give you my personal cell phone number, 346-779-5280.
Yes, sir.
We're low, price is low.
Man, again, thank you very much, Mr. Eddy Machette. And everybody, if you are a barbecuetarian, if you don't know what that is, go back, rewind the show. He'll tell you. And get your Rolling Bone seasoning, man. I'm sure you'll be satisfied. I'm definitely going to get mine. And you guys be blessed. We'll see you guys next week. Have another amazing show next week. Shout out to my cuz. This is also, I almost forgot this. Excellence in Black Business interview series. This has definitely been another interview about excellence in Black business. And my little cuz, man, she's coming next week, has started her own, it's back to back, man, talking about food, you know, and where she started her business from and how it started. So you guys tune in next week. Again, LeVar Ellis, the Reach Podcast Show. We appreciate you guys.